My name is Rowlands. I'm a nutritional balancing practitioner, and in this video I just wanted to highlight the importance of creating a safe space, especially when you've got EMF sensitivity. Now, for those who have seen my channel and watched me, you'll know that I suffered from extreme EMF sensitivity a few years ago, to a point where I actually had to basically live and sleep inside a solid EMF Faraday cage. Now, in my opinion, from my own experience and working with clients of mine that also have EMF sensitivity, it is super important to create an EMF safe space that you can go in to heal. Now, there's a few reasons really why you want to be doing that. The first reason is when you're getting bombarded by EMF frequencies, it is really difficult for the body to detoxify and heal. When I was going through the process of healing, what you'll generally find is that the body works in layers. So I wasn't even aware fully that I had EMF sensitivity in the beginning when I first started the nutritional balancing program. I'd heard about EMF sensitivity, but I just thought it was too woo-woo and didn't even think about the possibility that I had it. I was like, there's no way I could possibly have that. It's just ridiculous. But as the body kind of healed in layers, what you'll generally find is a layer will heal, and then a new layer will rise to the surface, and it'll become more prominent, and then you'll heal that layer, and a new layer will rise up, blah blah blah. You know, usually you're feeling better and better and better as the layers are healed, and for whatever reason, the EMF kind of layer just suddenly come to the top, and all of a sudden I was just aware of these feelings and stuff that was kind of hidden underneath. I just wasn't aware of it. I was just too toxic to become aware of things. And then I realised I had EMF sensitivity, and I remember there was a point in my healing journey when I just couldn't seem to move forward. There was like a few months where there was something that I needed to do to push me forwards. And I realised after a while that I needed some sort of EMF safe space to basically help me heal. Now, there's a few problems really with creating an EMF safe space. The first problem usually is that you need to understand how EMF frequencies work, and it's quite a complex subject. To cut a big story short, higher frequencies will be cancelled out by the use of a Faraday cage. So the Faraday cage is basically a conductive material, whether it be aluminium, whether it be copper, anything that's conductive. If you create like an infinite loop, and the EMF frequencies, the higher EMF frequencies hit that, it will hit the Faraday cage. A positive and a negative electrons will go around the cage and cancel each other out. So you can kind of be inside there and you're quite safe. It's one of the reasons why people don't get electrocuted when they're in like an aeroplane or whatever, because the aeroplane kind of just acts as like a Faraday cage. If there's lightning around, then at the opposite end of the scale, you've got lower frequencies, low EMF frequencies, and they can travel through Faraday cages. But what you want to be doing with them is you want to be grounding the Faraday cage, because these frequencies want to go to ground to dissipate. So you can kind of massively reduce both high frequencies and low frequencies by by being in a Faraday cage and grounding the Faraday cage out into the ground. So when the body's trying to heal, it's so important to have some sort of safe space that you spend a lot of time in, but you at least sleep in it at night time, because that's when the body's resting. It's when it's rejuvenating. It's when it's trying to kind of release a lot of metals and all that kind of stuff. So once you've kind of figured out a little bit about how frequencies work, then you can understand how to build a Faraday cage or get one for yourself. Now, the issues with buying them online is that a lot of times they'll trick you into thinking that a bed canopy is good, but in reality it's not. So, there's this weird lingo that they use in the electromagnetic frequency world and they'll basically say that this bed canopy is 99% protection or 99.999 protection, when in reality, 99% protection doesn't actually protect you that much. It's a strange thing. And there's an article on my website, Deep Healing Space. If you go to that website and search for the 99% lie, you'll get an explanation of why that happens. But in general, you want to be finding a bed canopy that's no lower than 35 decibels in strength, and you want to be finding a bed canopy that can handle high frequencies and low frequencies with a ground. I recommend a company called Aronia. It's spelled Aaronia. I do have some of them canopies actually for sale. So if you're interested, just give me a shout. However, I didn't go for that. I ended up falling for the 99% jargon, and I ended up getting a bed canopy that just didn't work at all. I was really, really disappointed. I was super ill, super like EMF sensitive. I was at one of the lowest points in my life, and I spent basically my last £1,000 on an EMF canopy just in the middle of Thailand, and it didn't work, and I was horrified. So I ended up basically building a bed canopy myself, building a solid bed canopy, which you can do easily by using solid metal sheets. And that created a safe space, a safe canopy for me to heal in. It was pretty cheap. I was in Thailand, and I built it with a frame and some aluminium sheets, and I grounded it, and it worked really well. And although it didn't look nice, it was what I needed. It was that safe space for my body to then push through some detox and get the copper out of the system, which is usually what's causing EMF problems, and just allowed my cells to become more healthy and more permeable, and things like calcium metabolism to kind of regulate, and all that kind of stuff that's related to EMF sensitivity. But if you are wanting, I have actually made a video on how I built that EMF cage. It's on our members area in our website. You go to www.deephealingspace.com/membership. It's in there. There's plenty of good videos in there. But basically, it's a frame, and it's just covered with solid like aluminium sheets, which I grounded. And one end is like mesh to let in some circulation, and it allowed me that next step. So when I work with clients, because from my experience, that's what was needed for the body to have a safe space to further do more detoxing and healing, I have to recommend it for all of my clients that help. Obviously alongside a nutritional balancing program to start to remove all of the toxins that's causing EMF sensitivity. So it's super important, if you're watching this, to try and get your bedroom sorted, or even you could build a tent outside in the garden, just something that's a safe space. So if you're interested in starting a nutritional balancing program, which is what I use to heal the body of EMF sensitivity from the inside, which not a lot of people are aware of, it's a very complex subject. I have a lot of clients on the program now that have got EMF sensitivity and are doing really, really well, and their EMFs are reducing, and we're researching every day of new ways of kind of speeding the process up. Just send me an email, lewis@deephealingspace.com, and we can get you on a nutritional balancing program. So thanks for watching, guys. If you've got any questions, please send me an email, and I'll speak to you all soon. Ciao.